Minecraft was a one-of-a-kind game when it came out. If you were one of those early adopters to Minecraft, I think we can all agree there was a certain type of magic over it. You see, I also adopted it pretty early and played it when I was a child. I really enjoyed the old Minecraft, and as such, when I saw the original trailers for Hytale, a game that I originally wasn't gonna be covering here on the channel, I genuinely got kinda captured. I loved the idea of it, I loved the look of it, but I thought it was just gonna be another generic Minecraft clone. Turns out it's anything but that. But that's what we are gonna be talking about in this video, so let's get right into it. What does it really mean to improve Minecraft, considering that it's one of the most beloved games ever? A game that has even transcended its own status as a game and gone into more of a edutainment tool that is somewhere being used in some schools? Well, I think that depends on who you ask. For me, improving Minecraft would be to add the sense of discovery back in the game. You see, when I started to play Minecraft, the year was circa 2011, I didn't speak a word of English, and exploring Minecraft felt like exploring an entirely new world. Part of that was because I had no idea how to progress. This was my first sandbox game. My first game where I could run around an open world and craft stuff in it, matter of fact. This was kind of a new feeling to me. An entirely new world to explore, full of things and stuff. At the time, I remember distinctly finding villages, and I'd sit at the edge of my seat as monsters would approach the little hut I was staying in, and I could hear the moaning of the zombies and the skeleton noises outside. I also remember not being able to make any recipes and all of that stuff. And I think that was exactly why I fell in love with Minecraft. It was the feeling of discovery and progress. It was the feeling of never really knowing what is around the next corner. And I think a game that has managed to do exactly that is Hytale. You see, Hytale is the supposed spiritual successor to Minecraft. It's a game that a lot of people have been pretty hype about, considering that it's made by the people behind Hypixel, one of the most popular Minecraft servers. It couldn't be anything but good, right? And the answer to that is actually kinda yeah. I mean, I think the visuals for me in Hytale is not the greatest. I think it's a little uglier than Minecraft. It tries to do a little bit too much for my own taste, but it's alright, because the rest of the game really makes up for it. You see, Hytale is really Minecraft if you took that core of exploration and survival and you just focused on that exploration aspect a lot. When I say exploration, what I mean is that the sense of discovery has been put back in the game, at least for the time being. As not only is there a lot of different biomes, but there's over 240 different mobs in the game. I'm not sure how many there are currently. I know there's more than 180, but I'm not sure about the entire total number in the game. There's also 5 different tiers of items you can craft. I currently have tier 4. As far as I know, tier 5, which is Mithril, isn't out yet. You can not obtain it outside of creative mode. But it is interesting to see, because Hytale is a game that doesn't have a lot of digging. You aren't gonna strip mine down to then find iron and then coal and so on and so forth. When you're playing a Hytale, the usual gameplay loop is that you'll explore a few buildings and you get some stuff, then you might find a cave entrance within one of those buildings, and from there go spelunking. Then while you're spelunking, you'll find more ruined structures and so on that you can loot from, all whilst discovering underground pets, enemies and other mobs, each with their own drops and so on. And as you're exploring the rooms and all that, you'll of course pick up some of the ore that's around the place. In essence, it plays a lot closer to something like Terraria, where yeah, you can do some digging, and you will be doing some digging, but it isn't necessarily the only thing that you'll be doing. It isn't the only means of progressing forward. Exploration is quite heavily a focus. It's like one of the main things that the games want you to do, with a lot of different structures and unique structures to every biome, and a lot of different biomes to explore with all their unique mobs and so on. It is a really interesting focus for a game to have, because it's one that puts you in the center of your own progression. More so in the fact that yeah, you can absolutely just stay at home and dig, but you probably won't be quote-unquote efficiently progressing. But you can also go out and explore every building to your heart's content and actually find the loot in it, while also being met by challenges of monsters and so on. Which is of course also why we gotta talk about combat a little bit. Because monsters are of course defeated by killing them. You will be beating the shit out of some skitty boys in this game, I'm telling you. And here's the thing. Whereas Minecraft's combat now is based around the charge meter, as far as I understand it, where there's like a little charge thing, and then When you click it, it's like sort of going off, and then you wait for it to come back so you have that timing, and then you have a shield. Hytale removes the timing and just adds your shield. You'll have to predict enemy attacks and their attack patterns in order to block them while getting damage in between it. So when they aren't attacking, you'll be attacking and then you'll be blocking their attacks, which completely removes all damage you can get. It's a really fun system because, at least at the beginning, taking damage actually hurts, like quite a lot, and most enemies you can't just outrun, as they won't have any qualms about spawning a big ol' Cthulhu-looking eye that shoots you. It is a really fun combat system. Also partially because you have more than just a sword and a bow and a trident and so on. You have tools. You have a crossbow as an example. I can see that there are magical wands, even though I don't have them yet. But there's that. You have your crossbow, which basically acts as an auto rifle. It's a bow that you reload with like 6 bolts and then you just shoot them in rapid fire. It's great. It's a fantastic game. And the combat system is really engaging and fun. And while I haven't engaged in PvP, as I am a single player gamer by heart, I am enjoying it. I am actually really enjoying it. More so than I thought I would when I saw it was going to be a Minecraft-ish type of game. And with the combat, there's also a lot of different choices in terms of melee weapons. You don't just have your standard as sword. You can also use a mace or you can use a warhammer daggers. And the daggers also have a pretty cool movement tech where if you use the fully charged up attack, the one where you just hold your mouse button in, then you can actually move faster than regular running, meaning that they are a great movement tool. So just having them on you is actually kind of a benefit. Hytale is a really interesting game in that regard. I really like the amount of choices I have for different combat styles. And I enjoy the fact that I am encouraged to play these different styles and try out new things. I also love the exploration in the game, like I have harped on it a lot already. But the fact that I can go out to a lot of different biomes, watch a lot of different mobs that are unique to each biome, such as polar bear in the snow biomes, I really like that. I like the fact that they have different enemies and different structures that seem to have their own little coordinated ideas of how they live. I love all of these things. They are so fucking cool. At its very core, those are cool ideas. The ideas of the Outlanders in the snow biome being dressed to survive the harsher weather, and their building being different using the materials that they've had around them to gather up and build and so on. It's really fucking cool. I love the idea of these things, and while the game isn't out of early access yet, I think it's shaping up pretty well already. And with all of that, you also have to acknowledge the building in the game. You see, very much like a game like Terraria, you can actually build with a purpose in Hytale. Whereas in Minecraft you build something because you want it to look pretty and so on. There's a lot of creative depth there. Hytale feels like it is shaping up to maybe have some building with a purpose, as you can create different traps and you can create different, more usable things. As an example, my entire base is surrounded in spikes of different sorts, both wooden spikes but also metal spikes. As the enemy tends to spawn a lot around my base, and then when they walk close enough to my base, then they'll take damage by just existing there. I think there's a lot of cool things in that regard, and I really enjoy that. There's also an entire different farming side to the game where you can plant your own crops and grow them and so on, which then you can upgrade the little plant area, the like crafting table for farming specifically, and upgrade that just like you can with other crafting tables, to have access to even more seeds and more stuff for farming. I love how Hytale allows you to really spec into a playstyle. I think more depth would really add on to that, but that is also what the Hytale devs are working on. With a new biome and maybe even access to Mithril, the highest tier farm in the game, right? One can hope. Because, quite frankly, I think Hytale as it stands is really interesting and stands out as one of the Minecraft clones, quote unquote. Instead of being just a direct copy of Minecraft, it seems to have its own identity, centered and focused around exploration and having a little bit more of that adventure side of things in it. And I'd really like to see that continue. Now, all of this has been to say that I think the years of wait time has really kind of been worth it. And for once, I don't feel like a early access indie game is bad in any way. I think Hytale is really good. I hope that it gets more content added to it though, that's like my only gripe. And if you're somebody who likes creating mods and all of that stuff, then the game has all of those features built in, which is really nice. There's even the movie makers and so on. I'm looking forward to see what people build with Hytale, just as much as I'm looking forward to seeing what the game has in its future. If something like Windcraft could be released here, full MMO within Hytale, I think it would go incredibly hard. All of that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and you want to try out Hytale, I'd suggest you do. If the game seems interesting to you at all, then go and give it a go. I know it's not the usual game that I cover here on the channel, being that I normally cover more story-focused or really RPG-ish type of games, as they just happen to be more up my alley. But it is completely fine. We love some variety here as well, and sometimes having some spice in that life of yours is gonna really just add that little bit extra to it. And for me, that's really been it. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video, and if you enjoyed, please do the YouTube stuff. I'd really appreciate that, and once you've done that, you're liking, subscribing and all that, then have a wonderful day ahead of you. I've been me, and I'm clocking off.